Hey everyone, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Even a broken clock is right twice a day. And Neil MacDonald represents the clock in terms of this article out of CBC News. Headline, it's an opinion piece. The campaign is a hologram. Make-believe tensions over minuscule differences. Neil MacDonald. There is no one big issue on which they disagree to an extent that merits 5 weeks of constant coverage. This was submitted by Neil MacDonald, September 17th, 2019. Like I say, folks, even Neil MacDonald can recognize the LibCons and recognize that both party platforms are so similar and so closely aligned that it's hard to tell one from the other. We have all, even the smartest of us, suspended disbelief and settled down for an extended stay in Potemkin Village. Well, all right, Potemkin Village may not be the most accurate analogy for an election campaign. The original creation of Grigory Potemkin was a fake portable village created to convince power, an 18th century Russian monarch, that all was well in the realm. The modern election campaign is created by power in order to convince the realm that all is well, and further, that its inhabitants are being presented with new information and a clear choice. But close enough. The campaign is a hologram, the result of an agreement between political parties, the news media, corporate entities, the chattering classes, and, to a certain extent, the voters themselves. Although the voters are often the least important participants, they remain an abstract entity, variously patronized, cited, and ignored by the big players until the one day every 4 years when they get to be very important indeed. For a set period, we agree to pretend that old is new, vapid is substantive, and make-believe is reality. Our journalistic institutions' definitions of news, a dodgy notion even in normal times, warps into something undefinable. Oppo research. Take, for example, the regular drops we've been seeing of Liberal Party Oppo research. The daily cherry bombs that have left one Conservative candidate and another dripping in their own words. They've been aimed precisely and timed exquisitely, generally appearing in tweets about some candidate making an appearance the same day with party leader in. None of it is new. Most, like the tweet featuring Scheer's 2005 denunciation of gay marriage, or the Ottawa area Conservative candidate's gormless palling around with white nationalist agitator Faith Goldie, or the extensive anti-gay and anti-Muslim social media postings of another Tory hopeful in Mississauga, Ontario, is a matter of public record. Any reporter could have found this stuff, but revealing things already on the public record isn't a reporter's job. When it is tweeted out as part of an organized strategy by Liberal politicians, though, it becomes news, amplified by journalistic organizations, which then makes it an issue by sending reporters to demand reaction. Anyways, folks, yeah, I can't put up with reading Neil's kind of rhetoric or diatribe here, to be honest with you. Not a fan of someone that has, like I say, I swear he must just sit there with a thesaurus and a dictionary trying to figure out some way to make him sound smarter than he genuinely is. But anyways, let me get to the point that Neil's trying to make. My more thoughtful colleagues reflect on this news creation privately, but they, like everyone else, are caught in a tide. It's the campaign, and campaigns matter because they allow us to contrast and compare, etc., which is fiction too. The plain Canadian fact is that relative to other Western democracies, the US in particular, there isn't much difference between our two main political parties. Both are deeply committed to extensive regulation, intervening in markets, significant redistribution of wealth, economic protectionism, and restraint of individual liberty, to use the American term, for the good of the collective. Neither party has an effective climate change plan, as though there even is such a thing at this point, and they both seem to agree on running deficits for the next several years. So, yeah, anyways, folks, I'll place a link to this article in the description of the video below, because, like, not a fan of reading Neil's articles, which is why I don't usually do them. Once again, but like I say, even a broken clock can be right twice a day, and even Neil, a continuing contributor to the CBC and probably a long time leftist, as far as I understand, is even he's recognizing the LibCon Duopoly. So if someone that's part and parcel of the establishment and has been so for a long time, if even someone like that is recognizing and acknowledging that the Liberals and the Conservatives are basically two wings of the same bird, well, I mean, come on, folks. What more evidence should you need? I mean, if even the leftists or contributors to the CBC can see through that fog, well, surely you can do so as well. Because unlike Neil, most of you folks haven't functioned in the belly of the beast. Or maybe that's why Neil actually has a better understanding or a firmer grasp on that LibCon duopoly. Regardless of the reasoning behind the fact that Neil is actually pointing out a reality that I've been talking about for a long time, I'm just happy and pleased to see that at least there's an article in the CBC that the readers or the consumers of their content is going to see and is going to point out the same kind of thing that I'm trying to point out. Although a lot of the people that are regular consumers of CBC don't necessarily watch my videos. But they're going to get at least somewhat similar information coming from one of their own kind. And if that's the way they need to hear it, come from someone that they align with politically, well, at the end of the day, whatever works. It's Canadian Libertarian, and I love liberty.